One of the biggest unknowns as a rookie investor is estimating how much money you will need to rehab a property. This can be one of the biggest fears holding you back from getting started or to take on a deal with value add. This could be using the BRRRR strategy or even flipping your first house where you need to estimate rehab cost. In most cases, purchasing a property that has value add opportunity can provide a better return than a turnkey investment. This greatly depends on how well you run your numbers and can estimate your rehab costs. My name is Ashley Kerr, co-host of the Real Estate Rookie podcast and author of Real Estate Rookie, 90 Days to Your First Investment. Today on Rookie Resource, we are going to cover how to estimate your rehab costs. These are my best tips and tricks that I have learned from experience and also other investors such as James Daynard. A couple of years ago, I flipped a house with James Daynard in Seattle, Washington. If you don't already know, James is one of the co-hosts of On the Market podcast by BiggerPockets. He has flipped over 1,000 homes and knows everything there is to know about rehabs. He is also very open about lessons he has learned. As an investor, you should never have to start from scratch. There are so many investors doing similar things to what you want to do. Real estate investors are an incredible community where very little is kept a trade secret. So many are willing to help others and contribute to others building wealth. That is one of the reasons I created this series to easily give you information that you can use as a guide to build from. Today, my goal is for you to have resources and tactics in your tool belt to feel more confident estimating rehab costs to effectively determine a purchase price to put together an offer on your next property. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to the Real Estate Rookie YouTube channel. We are striving towards 100,000 subscribers, and thank you to our amazing rookie community. We are almost there. So far, we have covered topics such as building a buy box, a closing checklist, acquisition checklist, due diligence checklist, and analyzing a market. If there is a topic you want covered, please let me know in the comments below. Before we get into my recommendations for estimating rehab, here are some great books that you can check out that will help you with this process. The book on estimating rehab costs by Jay Scott and the House Flipping Framework by James Daynard. These are both available in the BiggerPockets bookstore, and I'll put a link in the description for you. There is a little disclaimer to go over. As much as I wish I could tell you that painting a room costs $250 per square foot, all of the pricing for labor and materials will vary by market. The purpose behind this video is to be realistic and help you learn how to identify cost in your market. I may give you costs in my market to use an example or a comparison, but I want you to take away the information and how to determine your own pricing for your market. Another warning that just because one investor gets $250 per square foot for a painter in your market, that may not be the case for you. This investor could do 20 flips a year and use the same painter so they get a discount. Just something to be cautious of. I do recommend reaching out in the BiggerPockets forums or to people in your market to ask for referrals for contractors and also opinions on pricing. But I wouldn't build my budget based solely on their costs, especially if you are not using their exact same contractors. Also factor in that finishes may be different. A flipper may spend $100 per square foot to remodel, but if you are doing a BRRRR, you may not need as high-end finishes because rentals in your market doesn't demand it, so yours would be cheaper. One thing I learned from James Daynard is always adding in a contingency. As you build your estimate, add in a certain amount that is above and beyond what your estimate is. For example, this could be 20% added on for changeovers or unexpected repairs that happen. As much as I would love to teach you how to get a super accurate estimate, there are things that you will not know about that could come up in your rehab. For example, once you open up the walls, there could be some surprises that need to be repaired. My first recommendation is to focus on the materials costs. This is one of the easier things to estimate because you can look it up. The hard part is that you need to know what materials you need. If you are starting with a cosmetic flip, that could be a lot more precise. If you are doing a full gut and don't know a lot about construction, then estimating the materials to put a wall back together can be more difficult. This could be wood for the new studs, insulation for the exterior wall, drywall tape, and mud and electrical materials to run the wiring and the outlets. If you're doing more of a cosmetic flip, then you can look up the cost of cabinets, cost of paint, cost of countertops, cost of flooring pretty easily. There's one thing that I did that changed my rehabs. This is time consuming, but if you are serious, and especially if you have analysis paralysis when it comes to estimating a rehab, this is worth the work. Start a spreadsheet with the cost of every material you would need. And don't worry, I created a template for you based on some of the materials I use in my own rehabs. This template is specific to when we remodel apartments and the finishes we use. You can find this to download for yourself on BiggerPockets.com/rookie resource. On this spreadsheet, you will find the categories such as flooring, plumbing, etc. Then it will list the name of the material, a link to where you can purchase it, and the current price of it. If anything, there's a lot of data entry, and a VA, a virtual assistant, could easily do this for you for a cheap price. Also, who wants a video on hiring VAs for your real estate business? The template I created gives you a starting point to create your own. Most of the links are to Lowe's, since Lowe's is the closest hardware store to my rentals, but you could change these to your specific store that you like to shop at for materials. Once you have gathered your list of items, you can use my template to calculate costs based on quantity or square footage. For example, if you need 25 square feet of quarter round trim and it costs $47.94 for 3 square feet, then you will calculate the total cost needed simply by plugging in the square feet you need. This can become so simple once you create the formulas in your spreadsheet. You just plug and play. Your cost for material will calculate at the bottom. As you get quotes from contractors, you can also add labor costs in to get an understanding of that cost. We'll get into labor costs a little bit later in this video. If you are buying from a major hardware store, you can also take advantage of their bid rooms. Home Depot and Lowe's have them. Just reach out to your pro representative for your local store. What you do is build your whole shopping cart. You can either get the email for the bid room and send your shopping cart list over, or print it out and bring it into the store. What will happen is the pro representative will take your order and give you a discount for a bulk order. The discount can range. On average, we see that we save around $1,000 or more for an apartment remodel. That's a nice chunk of change back in my pocket. A question that may come up is that you have no idea what goes into installing a toilet besides buying a toilet. This is where YouTube University comes into play, or even ChatGPT. Earlier today, I put into ChatGPT what I needed to install a toilet. These are the results it gave me. You need a toilet, a wax seal, toilet flange, toilet bolts, toilet supply line, optional shims, and caulk or plumber's putty. It also went on to say what tools I needed too. Hopefully your contractor is including tools, and I would hope they wouldn't nickel and dime you if they need to use a shim or two. We're going to do a video at some point on building out your scope of work, which will be beneficial in really defining your materials list. My contractor and I use this method for each project we do to create a scope of work we both agree on. If you want a scope of work video, let me know in the comments. Now, on to estimating the rehab. My easiest method is by shopping your local hardware store. Oftentimes, there are signs that state how much their contractors charge. This is very common in the flooring aisle. There will be plenty of signs that say, get your carpet installed at $2.99 per square foot. You can find this all over the store for different things, where Lowe's has preferred contractors that you can hire through Lowe's. My flooring guy is actually a Lowe's preferred contractor, and he does all the work for the local Lowe's. But just getting these costs from the signs or asking the hardware employees, you can get an idea of what it may cost per square foot for different items. After getting as much information as possible from there, you can call local contractors to ask their per install rate. This is great for HVAC, plumbing, painting, and electrical contractors. Their cost per toilet install, hot water install, outlet install, and so much more. This will give you another great starting point. Of course, it can vary depending on what the base is for the contractor to come in and install, for how high the ceilings are for the painting. There are so many contractors out there. Even if you call the expensive name brand plumbers, their estimate is better than not having any clue as to what it will cost. It's great to be on the safe side by being conservative and factoring in a higher cost, but also no deal will ever work if you're always estimating the highest price. I remodeled this house where it needed a new electrical box and lots of rewiring. We called one of the larger electrical contractors in the area to quote us. It was a $14,000 quote. We bought this house for $20,000. This was way more than we expected, and had a moment of deep regret buying this house. My partner made a few phone calls and somehow got referred to the retired electrical inspector for the town. Once in a while, he did side jobs. It cost us about $5,000 when he was done, and he was amazing. What a difference in price. We got a great price on this job, but couldn't rely on it for future estimates since this guy was super selective on what jobs he took and did it more to keep himself active. There was no one else that would even be close to his price, so it wouldn't work to use that pricing in every estimate. As you use contractors, or you get quotes, or ask other investors in your market, use the average to estimate. A great contractor may not be available for every project, or the cheapest price might not be the best quality. There are different websites where you can sign up to get estimates such as Thumbtack or Angie's List. I've never hired a contractor from a list like this, but you can do a free quote based on a description of what you want to do. This can be a helpful tool for you too. Before you start estimating, make sure you visit to get my download at BiggerPockets.com/rookie-resource. The estimate template to build your own spreadsheet will make your project more efficient and effective when you are estimating your rehab once you have this all built out. As always, rely on your local resources and your network for help. Make sure you are also offering assistance and being of value in return. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Rookie Resource. I'll be checking back in the comments to see if you want me to do a scope of work video, so make sure to comment below.